All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're breaking down a professional-grade starting point designed specifically for algorithmic traders and data scientists. If you've ever tried to transition from studying theoretical finance to actually writing the code that executes trades, well, you know exactly how daunting that blinking cursor on a blank screen can be. So, we are unpacking the Quant Strategy Templates Bundle 3 to help you completely bypass that initial hurdle.
It's a great question, isn't it? Building a reliable backtesting codebase without accidentally introducing look-ahead bias or without having to rely on those incredibly expensive data feeds is a massive, massive challenge for independent researchers. Most people end up trying to hack together disparate online tutorials, and honestly, that almost always leads to fundamental structural errors in how they handle their data.
To solve this, the bundle we're analyzing today isn't just a random collection of theoretical scripts. It is actually extracted directly from a rigorous 1.2 million-line quantitative trading codebase. I mean, 1.2 million lines. That number is just staggering. It means you're looking at battle-tested, professional architecture that has literally been distilled down into a focused, highly usable format.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting the Quant Research Challenge, Strategy 1, which is Crypto Carry, Strategy 2 on Equity Momentum, Strategy 3 covering VIX Reversion, the notebook architecture, and finally, who is this for?
First up, let's look at the Quant Research Challenge.
You know the struggle. Aspiring and intermediate quantitative researchers face massive structural barriers every single day when they sit down at their terminals. Developing totally from scratch often leads to overfitting or accidental look-ahead bias. You might genuinely think you found the holy grail of trading algorithms, but in reality, your code is just illegally peeking into the future. On top of that, expensive Bloomberg data feeds price independent quants out of the market entirely. And let's not even talk about the countless soul-crushing hours lost just building basic data plumbing instead of actually researching trading signals.
Moving right along to Strategy 1, Crypto Carry.
To anchor this concept, a funding rate carry strategy essentially exploits the persistent price differences found in cryptocurrency perpetual futures. So, instead of placing a bet on whether Bitcoin is going to go up or down, this strategy looks closely at the funding rate mechanisms that exchanges use to tether their perpetual contracts to spot prices, and it systematically seeks to capture that yield.
What's really fascinating here is how the notebook automates a correlation-weighted hedge using the Binance Public API. It is not just pulling raw data, it's building a sophisticated hedge and running a fully vectorized backtest. It immediately calculates the exact, crucial metrics professionals actually care about, like Sharpe ratios for risk-adjusted return, Colmar ratios, and of course, maximum drawdowns.
Now for our second deep dive, Strategy 2, Equity Momentum.
By comparing a standard momentum strategy to one utilizing a hidden Markov model regime filter, we can clearly see how the filter cuts drawdowns during sudden trend reversals without killing the upside potential. Standard momentum is great in a bull market, right? But it gets absolutely crushed when regimes suddenly shift. The hidden Markov model acts as a sophisticated mathematical filter, recognizing changes in market conditions or regimes and dynamically adjusting the strategy's exposure.
And this brilliantly illustrates the strategy's resilience. It was rigorously backtested across major historical market crashes to validate how well that regime filter actually works. Spanning from 2005 all the way up to 2024, the notebook forces the algorithm through the meat grinder of the 2008 financial crisis, the rapid 2020 pandemic crash, and that long, grinding 2022 market downturn. Seeing how the code handles these extreme stress tests is absolutely vital for understanding its true robustness.
Next up is Strategy 3, VIX Reversion.
Taking just a second to translate the jargon here, this strategy looks at the gap between expected future volatility and the actual volatility happening in the market right now. It examines the VIX term structure spread, which is essentially how options markets are pricing fear over different time horizons, and compares that to the realized historical volatility. Whenever these two things diverge too far from each other, there's often a mean reversion opportunity.
So, the crucial takeaway here is that this notebook transforms a trade traditionally based entirely on human gut feeling into a strictly systematic, data-driven framework. A lot of options traders will look at a massive volatility spike and just say, you know what, that feels too high, I'm going to sell it. This template completely replaces that subjective feeling with cold, hard math, providing a structured way to actually backtest and execute the trade.
Let's shift gears and look under the hood at notebook architecture.
Every single one of these notebooks strictly follows this logical progression, guaranteeing a uniform and rigorous testing environment all the way from data collection down to final reporting. Conceptually, it flows precisely through these critical steps. You fetch the data, build the signal, run the execution, calculate metrics, run sensitivity grids, and finally export a really beautiful PDF tier sheet summarizing your edge. This pipeline is literally the backbone of professional quantitative research.
A major architectural advantage to point out here is that all three of these strategies rely entirely on free data sources, rather than those expensive paid feeds. The crypto strategy taps into the Binance Public API, Equity Momentum uses the incredibly popular Y-Finance library, and the VIX reversion strategy pulls directly from FRED, the Federal Reserve Economic Data. This is huge. It means you can run and modify these high-level frameworks without paying thousands of dollars a month just for the right to access the data.
Furthermore, the core architecture prevents look-ahead bias by design, and it uses parameter sensitivity grids so you can clearly see if you've actually found a genuine edge or just an overfit data point. By isolating the signal generation away from the execution, the templates physically stop you from cheating in your backtests. And those sensitivity grids, they're fantastic. They show you exactly how your strategy performs if you slightly tweak your variables. Because let's be real, if your strategy completely falls apart just because you changed a parameter by 1%, you don't have a real edge, you just have a curve-fitted illusion.
Finally, who is this for?
Let's be clear. At $99, this bundle is explicitly for researchers who already know their way around Python and Pandas. It provides a highly robust, professional starting point where the underlying math is fully exposed. It is not some magical plug-and-play product. If you don't know how to code, this definitely isn't for you. The code is well commented so you can follow the logic, but the math itself is not dumbed down. It is a true foundation designed specifically for you to modify and build your own proprietary strategies on top of.
And of course, we absolutely have to reiterate the golden rule of quantitative finance provided in the source material. No matter how robust a historical backtest appears on your screen, it does not guarantee future live performance. Market conditions change, slippage happens, and historical data can never perfectly predict the future. Remember, this is research infrastructure, not a guaranteed printing press, and trading always carries inherent risk.
By providing such transparent architecture and structured frameworks across three entirely distinct asset classes, this bundle really asks if you are finally ready to elevate your algorithmic research. Just think about the sheer amount of time saved by having the data pipelines, the performance metrics, and the regime filters already built and fully debugged for you. So, the ultimate question to leave you with today is this. If all this structural heavy lifting is already done, what unique trading ideas are you finally